right now they pumping so many logos and so many, you know, all the wrong kind of concepts, but it's inside of us. We collectively are God. We as a collection, God is in us. So collectively we are God as we move like,
yeah. Rastafaro. Blessings of wholeness family. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Akeem Pierre. If you're new, welcome to the vibes. Today we're gonna do another review video. There's been a lot of epic podcasts coming out and I'm like, yo, we just gotta talk about it because we can just talk about what's really going on right now in society. And this video is gonna be about Kanye West. He was on the Drink Champs podcast and he was out there speaking. Like, say what you want about Kanye, how he's wearing a red hat and that makes him like someone you can't deal with, but he's really dropping them jewels, dropping them gems, and a lot of things for us to pick up as a man who's made it to a certain level of stature, status in society, but he still wants to honor himself as just like a regular being. So it's gonna be a potent one, y'all. But today's video is sponsored by Rich Soul Foods. Ow! The home of the high grade healing. We got abundance of these unique herbs and sea moss we harvest from St. Lucia, a family business. And for watching this video, Rich Soul Food is giving us 11% off if you use the code YouTubeLove. So head over, get you some animal root, get you connected to the earth, get you grounded, get you immune system boosted up. It's called the Cure for All for a reason, y'all. Tap in. Bless. So what we're gonna do for this video is I have a couple select clips that I selected from the podcast. Believe me, I would like to talk about the whole podcast, but that's just too long. So we're gonna go through this podcast here and I'm gonna just share a little bit of the vibes. I'm gonna share a little bit of the mindset, the little bit of what I think about this because he's onto something. I really believe he's onto something. So let's make sure we show our love. And Kanye, you welcome up at Mount Kailash. Come visit us in St. Lucia. We all in that same vibe. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it.
and they've been taking, you know, the leaders and the fathers out of the community and only leave us with a hustler mentality because you ain't got a dad that's showing you how to save money and what property to buy and how to build your own factories. We're gonna be jumping up and down for the idea of like Virgil getting a job for Bernard Arnault or me getting a job at The Gap or Adidas. A lot of times it's like we all was born white supremacist, racist, and homophobic. That's the bottom, that's so the baseline. Right, that's another thing. I don't even got the word for it, but it's like a phobia of mental health.
Y'all, so this is something that we spoke about in the Men Need Healing 2 series about how like we don't have those role models in our life. Whether it's strategic or whether it's just we don't have that, it's something that we don't have. So what he's saying is that this is putting us in a space where we're just celebrating, clapping for getting a job instead of actually owning the thing. We're just celebrating these things and we're not learning the important things. We're not learning about investing. We're not learning about food, these basic things that help us rise up. We don't have those positive role models in our life. And then he's going to touch on mental health. I love this perspective on mental health. He said we got a phobia of mental health.
But when I see that, bro, I'm telling you, you know, the declaration of insanity is a form of censorship and control.
The declaration of insanity is a form of censorship and control. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna call you crazy or call you an outsider. Why? So they can control you. Because basically when they call you crazy, they call you the outsider, the weirdo, the one on the outside. They're saying, come back over here if you don't want to continue being the outsider, if you don't want to get the benefits of what we got over here. So this is the thing where they call Kanye crazy, and this is what they do all around. Like, and this is, you could say like, who hurt you is something that is just common these days. It's like, who hurt you? Who hurt you? And that's the way of saying like, yo, come back over here. Like you're acting up. But this is the thing, is so important because we talk about mental health as if it's something we care about, but really and truly, nah. It's all a facade, yo.
Would you like some Hennessy? Would you like a glass?
Well, you know, let me explain what Hennessy is doing to the community.
Okay.
So I added that one in just because it's funny, because this is something that I realized for myself. Like, it doesn't matter how righteous you get. It doesn't matter how in tune and spiritual woke you are. Still connect and still have a joke, because he made a little joke about it. This is what it's doing to the community, because he understands. But he's not necessarily like has to be perfect. But he let it be known of like, yo, you see what it's doing in the community? This isn't really good for us, but you know, he's saying, so I like that. I thought that was funny. And I'm learning from this about not cutting everything out of my life and having some balance in my life to make me me. Because I'm looking at others and I'm trying to be the perfect them when I'm me, and my uniqueness that's my greatness. So I just thought that was funny.
You know, with me and Drake, we all really on the same team. Just even on this planet, period, we on the same team. We the people we think is our ops and all this stuff. Once we understand, and this is, I think, the job that God actually has for me, is for us to all realize that we are playing inside of the same time. There's one thing we all got in common. If we all in the same place in the Christian calendar, right, at all times. We could be the first civilization to become civil. As a matter of fact, let me take out the word can. I hate the word can. I hate these.
So before I get into that part, this part is just like, we're on the same team. He'll touch on it a couple times, and he talks about this a lot, but this is like probably one of the most important things going on right now is the division. Like, they're trying to divide us, and you're this, and separate us. But at the end of the day, we're on the same team, and it doesn't matter if we don't agree with each other. We're on the same team. We can't look at each other as as opposition, as those people. You know what I mean? Because that's gonna divide us, and we're weak when we're divided. So we gotta always come together. So I love how he's like, yo, we're on the same team. We gotta understand that. We're on the same team.
He's like in between, you know.
No try.
Word can and should, and if it's like feds. It's like somebody you think is with you, they're not really with you. They're like a fourth leg that could just fall anytime your whole table fall over. Like, that's why we have to will these things in fruition. So we say we will be the first civilization to become civil. We still in the dark ages. We attack each other. Mentally, we go back to the rap stuff with me and Drake.
I love that analogy. He says like the words try, should, could, those are like the leg on the table, that it's like the feds around you. And at any given moment, that could fall and then your foundation is broken. So it's just so important to have those solid people around you. And he's saying this for the words. So he just has a deeper understanding of the power of the words, where he's like, yo, you got this. When you use those words, you're out of balance. It's like the feds. It's like you're not helping yourself. There's no way you can win with that kind of verbiage, with that kind of words. So I think that's super potent. The importance of the words, y'all. The words, the words, the words.
You know what I'm saying? That different kind of mob. But you gotta understand, they all doing their job. We all here for a reason. God got a reason. God sees everything. Right. And if I'm still alive, God's not finished. Like I say on 24.
Right. If I'm still alive, God's not finished, yo. I love that. I love that. But I love how he's like, we all got a job. We all got a job. Everyone wants to be the boss these days. Everybody wants to be that. But we all got a job. And even the people who are on the other side of us, right? The ops, they got a job, and they're actually the people who come in our life and bring us hardships and challenges. They're helping us be better. So they all got a job.
They don't want to, what did AZ say? They don't want to see a black man turn to John Gotti. Or Khaled be like, they don't want you to have this. They want you to have a house.
They want you to.
They want you to have the cars. They want you to look at the numbers on, you know, Billboard or Spotify, or that's completely controlled. They want you to look at they want you to base your self-esteem off of TikTok. Hi, God. If another nigga talk to me about TikTok,
I got TikTok.
Bro.
So that's just key, because just in this society, we really think that us attaining these material goods, these material things, is like us leveling up in certain ways, but those are just distractions at the end of the day. And I'm not saying let's not go for that, but those are just distractions. So let's get it, but let's stay on a mission, a vision, and a purpose. So when it comes to Rich Soul Foods, we're on a mission, right? We're looking to make wellness a culture. We're looking to make wellness to be something that's cool. We're looking to make it so you have these herbs and preventative medicine is a part of your life. That's what we're looking to do. And the cars, the clothes, the chains, the house, whatever comes from it is a byproduct. And you know, we gonna get it, yeah, we gonna get it, but that's not the value. That's not where I get my value from. And that's not where my focus is. My focus is on healing the people. Honorable Priest Kailash asked me when he first met me, this is one of the first things he said, do you wanna make money or do you wanna heal people? And I said, I wanna heal people. And he said, well, in order to heal people, you're gonna have to make money. So it's gonna come, like they come together, but we don't need to focus on that. because those are the distractions. We need to focus on unity. We need to focus on the healing. We need to focus on coming together.
You know, it's a really utopian dictator concept of, okay, we're gonna eradicate homelessness. What about people who wanna be homeless?
And there's a lot of them that wanna be homeless.
There's a lot of people, so that would change, you gotta think.
So with this one, I really like this one. I chose this clip because we're trying to be the people who help all of our family members around us. Like, we're trying to force this lifestyle of being healthy on others. We're trying to force them to speak away. We're trying to force them to think away. We're trying to force them to live away, eat away, all this. But what if they don't want that? What if they want to remain unhealthy? What if they want to remain in the space that they're in, with the same thoughts that they're in? We can't force others. And that's when we give our energy. We try to convince people to do things that they should be. Nah, don't have to force people. Let them live their life, right? And let us live our lives, because he's gonna go into a little more.
We used to have water fountains. Now we got a plastic problem because of water bottles. That's capitalism.
Deep.
You know, everyone only thinks about themselves, especially our Black leaders.
Right.
Wouldn't none of us run on stage? Wouldn't none of us say, George Bush don't care about? We are very self-interested.
Those are two of the best moments in American history.
So it's just, we're self-interested in the sense of like, we're doing this stuff for ourselves. We're trying to get other people. It's not really for them. We don't really ask them what they want. We're just forcing ourselves and our things upon them. And we're not stopping to think about what they want. Hey, you know what I mean? So that's something like, let's stop wasting our energy, spending our energy on trying to convince people to live a certain life they don't want to live. Because a lot of people are in love with the current state that they're in. They love the broken. They love the sad. They love the depression. So who are we to get them out of it? Let them be. Let them live. Let them enjoy it. You know what I mean? And it's all blessed.
But the thought was, I get to take the ride. The ride was beautiful, so it's just
I get to, I don't have to. Perspective shift. Simple shifts like this change our whole lives. I get
a
to.
perspective on life. Like when I go through just the different changes in my life, my family, a friend of mine said, are you sad? And when I really thought about it, I started to look at life like it was a video game. I'm like, yo, every part of it is really lit.
Right.
The things that hurt you, the things that you're happy about, the things that push your ego, that support your ego, the things that down your ego. Like, I've been saying this like for a couple weeks, like ego and anger love to hang out, they best friends.
Oh, absolutely. Ego and anger. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. I ain't know
So he's
that.
speaking right there about sadness. I'm the guy that's like, for the most part, I'm always around and I'm happy, I'm high energy. And sometimes when I do let it be known I'm sad or I'm in lower energy, people act as if it's a bad thing. But I'm not, it's not a bad thing. This is lit. Like he's saying, it's lit. And this is the full spectrum of emotions. This is wholeness. And when we allow ourselves to feel, when we allow ourselves the blessings to feel sad, and then figure it out from that sadness to level up, move on up, then that's like a super blessing that we get afforded. But when we look at sadness as bad, we don't allow ourselves to learn from the sadness. It's all lit. I enjoy the sadness. I enjoy anger. I enjoy all of that because this is all the teachers in my life, you know? So I love that perspective. And it's just, once again, on the mental health. We love mental health, but then we make sadness to be like it's a bad thing. We make it like we call people crazy, you know what I mean?
And I always been like ahead of niggas. And I always like that feeling of being ahead, but if you ahead long enough, you need to become the head.
This is for all of y'all, because y'all watching this video, y'all are the heads. Y'all are the leaders of your communities, of your families, right? People look to you, whether you want it or not. People look to you, you're a leader. And at some point, when people look to you as the head, you gotta become the head. So we gotta step into that role. We gotta embrace that role, and we gotta step forward and say, I am the leader in my family. I'm the one that's going to help us get out of these generational curses and into these generational blessings. I'm the one that's gonna implement these different, I love this, family SOPs. And I'm the one that's gonna implement these different aspects, which is going to help us have better healing conversations and just healing lineage. So I love that, because we are the leaders. We are the heads in our family. So it's time for us to become that. Let's become that, y'all. Let's do it.
They told her what fountain she could drink out of.
Okay.
Now we born into a vote. They literally call it the black vote.
Yeah.
And by the way, we blood of Christ. We blood of Moses.
Right.
We're not just a color in a crayon box. And if we knew that, who we really were, we'd treat each other differently. We'd treat ourselves differently. So when you say, I'm black and I'm proud.
Yes, Kanye. Yes. If we knew this, we treat ourselves differently. We treat each other differently. We're not just a color in a crayon box. It's bigger than color. That's another way that they're just trying to separate and divide. It's so much bigger than that, y'all. And when we do realize that, we're gonna treat each other differently. We're gonna treat each other as the gods that we are. But we gotta realize that's who we are. Then we're gonna move different, but it's key.
I'm black and I'm proud. Like,
Proud of
but
what?
of what? What concept are we understanding? They say go see the African History Museum. Why do they start when the boats came? Why don't they start with the drums?
When we was kings. And,
No, they don't want it, but we are kings. But the 400 years doesn't have to deal with slavery.
Powerful. I ain't even gotta touch on that, yo, but powerful, powerful, powerful. He's tuned in.
We are God's ultimate iPhone. We are God's favorite creation. So if Steve Jobs was God,
if we have these perspectives in our lives, wow. We have these perspectives in our lives that just show how powerful we are. It shows how, like, we are God's iPhones. Like, we are God's most powerful creations.
we would be his iPhone.
Right.
And we are simply programmed. And we go with the program, and some are unprogrammed, and some of the unprogrammed are people who they say are crazy, or people who go off the rails, people who end up homeless. And the program are the people who go with the program. And you have this thing, like when I said, when I hit you with a WYD, you better not hit me with a HUY. Better be like, hi, with a bunch of I's, or hey, with a bunch of Y. And so it's, you know, people who heard that song would text me back with a bunch of I's or a bunch of Y's. We just right there adjusted the programming. That's simple. That's what media, that's the mind control. It's all about, can you be a part of the programming?
First, he's talking about the program versus the unprogrammed. The unprogrammed ones are the ones they call crazy. So we touch on that. And then he talks about how the music is a tool for programming. So that's why we gotta be mindful of the music that we're consuming. It's all consumption. What kind of music are we consuming? What kind of conversations are we consuming? Because that's how we get programmed. It's that subtle, y'all. So it's not, we just gotta be very mindful of the music that we're listening to, the energy that we're around, because that's how we get programmed. It's that easy, and it's all the mind control. So we gotta have that time in the silence. We gotta have some time to meditate. We gotta have some time to just chill and listen to the loud silence, and then tune in with that inner guidance and allow that to guide us.
We do that, and you get like of God people, Travis Scott, Drake, Kanye West. We of God, God's plan. And then we make these songs that don't have a redemptive quality in what we're saying, because maybe we trying to look harder or be cooler or this, that, younger, whatever it is, and act like we ready to die as much as people who really got, 10 bodies and really,
Why we gotta play around? Why we gotta play around and act as if, and we're bringing more negativity? Just be the king, be the God that you are. You don't gotta try to fit in.
This is the other thing, Sicko Mode, they would play it at the kids' party. So I'd have to bring my kids to a party with this man threatening my life on a song. Welcome to Calabasas. And then they wonder why you end up, in the hospital. It has to be some type of respect, a male perspective, a God perspective, and some type of community leadership. And I'm the leader.
He said he's the leader, but we all leaders. And we all need to be leaders. We all gotta have the ability to have like a filter on what we allow. Because right now we're just allowing anything. And it's wild what's being allowed right now. But Right there, it's powerful. It's powerful, y'all. We gotta have some community leadership. We gotta come together. It's crazy. It's like, it's wild because what he's saying is just so true. What do you mean? Why am I in the hospital? You see what they're doing?
I'm not telling these niggas, but if we moved as a family in a community, you know what Jay said, we could fall, we could be each other's crutches. We could benefit each other, but the system tears us apart left and right. Jay this way, Dane that way, Ye this way, Virgil that way.
Together,
we stronger together. We
together.
impenetrable together.
Penetrable.
But it changes what we value. Right now, they pumping so many logos and so many, you know, all the wrong kind of concepts, but it's inside of us. We collectively are God. We as a collection, God is in us. So collectively, we are God. As we move, like when they move around Mecca, when you see that, you see God inside of that, the way those people are moving. Once we move and we realize that we just all have to be on one accord, like to do what Quincy Jones did in the studio, but do that to our life, that we all in one accord. When I go and say something that's about Drake, about John Legend, I'm just tuning the note so that we could play a symphony.
That was powerful. And he was just talking about let's come together, but when he said at the end, I was just tuning the note. When he talks about Drake or John Legend, he's fine tuning, and that's like the iron sharpens iron. We gotta be real and honest with each other. And he's calling them out, and I don't necessarily agree with him calling them out on this public platform, but he's saying like, we gotta be able to come forward and speak to each other so we could be and play on the same tune. We could play the same song and we could be in rhythm. So sometimes you gotta go through that stage and phase of being out of rhythm to get in rhythm. So that's important. And he's doing a great job of calling people out, and it seems like they're coming together. So I love that. And this is something that Priest says to me a lot of the times. He likes to speak about just the honesty. Open rebuke is better than silent scorn or something like that. So just be real, like say it, say it, say it. So that's one of the most powerful things that Priest really embodies and shows me and shares with me. And I think it helped me a lot. It helps people around him, and I want to share that more with others. So I love that.
That's the part I don't like. That's the part, because if you king, then let's be kings.
Let's be kings.
That's the part. We starting up our own league. And I'm here battling for us, for our freedom, to be able to build our communities and not be in a position where we have to kill half of ourselves every year. Okay, now they hit the third rail.
So that's like the end. He ended off on a fire note. But if we're kings, let's be kings, y'all. I had a reading from this healer, and I was just sharing about my insights that I have from source, this guidance that I received. And he said, make sure you act on it, because if you're not acting on it, then you're basically going against the guidance. You're going against your guides, the source, where you receive that information. And that's gonna turn out bad, right? We don't wanna do that. So when we receive the guidance, we know we're kings, we know we're gods, we know we're these high-level divine beings. So let's be that. Let's be that, let's embody that. We are great, let's be great. And let's not be afraid to say no. Let's not be afraid to be an outsider. Let's not be afraid to be called crazy. And let's build our own league. Like he said, build our own league. Let's build our own communities. Let's build our own schools. Let's come together as a community. And I'm not talking about nothing to do with color. I'm talking to do with the mindset, the vibe, the harmony, the harmonization. That's what's really important, y'all. So let's come together. Let's build these communities, and let's be united, because we are impenetrable when we are together. And especially if each of us recognizes the godliness that we have within us, we each recognize that we each have a job, we all recognize that we're all on the same team, it's gonna be powerful. We're gonna be unstoppable. And then this is gonna help us to live more in that world and be more in that community where we're surrounded by like-hearted people. And we're able to just live in a vibe and come together with these beautiful, epic communities. Like, yeah, y'all, I'm excited. This kind of stuff excites me because he's talking about a lot of important stuff on a big platform. And he's not gonna reach everybody, but from us, like, we're like, yeah, we already know this stuff. This is stuff that Kanye's saying we already know. So it's not like he's saying new things, but the fact that it's out here is gonna be important. So let this allow us to be more bold in our movements. Let this allow us to embody that greatness, embody that kingness that we have, the king and queenness that we got within us. But much love, y'all. Give thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Ja Rastafaro.